Okay, we are ready to go with another live from my craft room. This is Karen McNall, and I'm coming from the state of Vermont to your device, whether you're watching on a laptop, iPad, your phone, your computer. Let us know where you're watching from, and we'll be getting started very shortly. Let me see. I'm just waiting for my laptop to catch up. All I see is my picture of my face. So let me see. There we go. All right. So it looks like I am live, and this is the card we're going to make. I was inspired by one of my teammates' cards last night. We had our team meeting for the Inspired Daisies. We have them once a month. Usually they're on the second Wednesday of the month, but I am traveling to Raleigh, North Carolina tomorrow morning, bright and early. So I have this day to get ready and do any last minute things before I jump on a bus and head to Boston and then a plane to Raleigh. I'm looking forward to some warmer temperature and a little bit of vitamin D. But anyway, we had our stamper of the month, which was Carol. And Carol, if you're watching, thank you so much. I just love your card. And I'm going to make 4 of them today. All different designer papers, but all the same layout. I just could make this card like all day long and never get sick of it. I did design a box last night, and it looks like this. So what I did was I took I just made this little star square and topped it on one of our retired boxes. I keep all of my boxes, and you never know when I'm going to need them. And I just had this little belly band I made. It was like a 2 inches wide by, I don't know, 10 inches. It was just a scrap piece, and I wrapped it around the box. And then I added dimensionals to the back side of the square here and topped it on the top of the box. So I think it looks really cute. It goes with the designer paper, and some lucky person's going to get this. But is going on the plane to Raleigh with me tomorrow morning. So we're going to get started again. I'm going to be making 4 of these, and they're all the same design layout, just different designer papers, different cardstock colors. The embossed panel is all going to be the same. It's called the Distress Tile 3D. It's one of my top 3 embossing folders that you'll see me using all the time. The stamp set I'm using is from Hello Spring. It was the Paper Pumpkin February stamp set. So I'll be using this one. I'm not sure of the sentiments yet. I do know I want to make another Easter card, so we'll be doing that. And then as I look at the sentiments, we'll just figure it out. The little like focal point sentiment circles are coming from leftover Paper Pumpkin little die cuts that we get, and also the little sparkly gems I'll be using just for the center of the little star there. Again, this is called a Star Quilt card, and I really enjoyed learning how to make it. Ink colors for today are Shy Shamrock, Melon Mambo, Night of Navy, Early Espresso. And those are mainly just the sentiments, and I'm trying to match up the paper colors. If you would like to order any of the products you see today, make sure you use my ordering special. My code is TJARFGYF, and receive 3 card kits from the Notes from the Heart when ordering $35 or more. So those are alternatives. And if you watched my live, I don't know, last week, I think it was, I put those together. So if you didn't see it, you can just go back to my live playlist and you'll be able to see it there. But I know one thing I need to do. I've got all the pieces ready to go except the 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 squares that are right on here. You probably can't even see them, but they are there. I did not cut them last night because I didn't want to lose them. So they're very small, and I'm just going to cut them down right now. And I'm just thinking maybe I should get a little container to put them in, because knowing me, I would still lose them. So let me go grab something. I must have, yeah, I'll just grab this cute little fabric bowl that Pam G made for me, and I will put those in there. And Pam, if you're watching, thanks very much. All right, so I'm just gonna cut down some strips. I need 16 of these, and because we're making 4 cards. So let's see if that's enough. If not, I'll cut some more strips. So this is a card that you can easily mass produce. I showed it last night on at the team meeting for Inspired Daisies, and I encourage them to all create it as well. Christine S., she created one during the team meeting, and she has posted it on our Facebook group. But I encouraged all of our team members to create the card, because it's very super simple and easy, and it's just a beautiful card. So, and I know they would enjoy making it too. And if you make it and you want to show me what you made, you can email it to me at Karen@inspiredbygram.com. Again, that's Karen@inspiredbygram.com. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 1 card, 2 cards. Let me just slide these all over and put them in my little bowl over here off to the side. And it looks like we need 8 more. I hope you guys are having a great morning so far. It's just beautiful here. Yesterday it was in the 60s, but today it's not going to get higher than 32 degrees, but at least the sun is shining. And this time of year, after going through a very cold and snowy winter, having the sun out is just amazing. It just feels like it's on your face. It just feels so good, like middle of the summer with no humidity, kind of good. But I am looking forward to heading to North Carolina. I've actually never been to North Carolina. And even though I'm just flying into the airport and traveling to the big city, I still can say that I have been in North Carolina. For me, I would actually like to go to the Appalachian Trail and hike North Carolina. I have seen from videos and YouTube vloggers that I follow on the trail. A lot of them are hiking in North Carolina right now, and it's so super pretty there. So someday I'll get there. Okay, so I've got 4 kits here. I've got more of a masculine one. I've got one with Shy Shamrock, Melon Mambo, and Night of Navy. So those are kind of the colors. We'll start with the Countryside Inn, and I can't remember all the names of these papers, but I'm sure you guys can. And again, they're all made the same, and I'm just using different colors, and then I'll show you them all at the end, and you can pick out your favorite. So the sizes, if you would like them, are your card base. I have stuck with basic white thick for all of my card bases. And this is 8.5 by 5.5, and I have scored it at 4 1/4. So I'm going to grab my on stage bone folder from last year. I always treat myself to something. And this lady that's a demonstrator, she has an Etsy shop, and you can order these and personalize them. So I always order me a bone folder and a block. So I have my block all ready to go. We'll be making some cards too, some make and takes. And I've already got my box of tools ready to go in my luggage. All right, this part is really easy. So I'm just going to add the Night of Navy panel, which is embossed with the Distress Tile 3D embossing folder. Again, one of my top 3 embossing folders. I'd say it's number 1 on my list. It's 4 by 5 1/4. And let me just grab, of course, I've already packed away my glue. So just a second. Hopefully there's enough left in this one here. All right, actually I've got some seal over there. If this doesn't work very good, I'll just grab my seal. But I like to put my liquid glue very generous on embossed panels just because of all the ridges that the embossing creates. But it's very beautiful. All right, again, that's 4 by 5 1/4 native navy. And then that just gets adhered right to the front of the card base. Again, that's basic white 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. And then we have 2 more pieces. Your basic white is 3 by 3 and your native navy is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. You're going to want to take a ruler and a pencil, and you're going to take your ruler and you're going to create a line point to point. All right, let me just zoom in a little bit. So I'll line my ruler up to the point of the square and then the other one down here. And I just create a very light line. You're not, oops, that's not, I actually put my pencil right on that metal, the metal blade right there. I didn't even see it. So we'll add the ruler right to the point up there and then angle it so we get a straight line. There we go. All right, and then we're going to rotate the paper and we're going to do the same thing. And this is just going to help you put your strips on in the middle and also straight. All right, so we have our X. And then I've got 4 different patterns of the Countryside in designer paper. So I like to lay them out in front of me so I can see the designs. And I've got 2 kind of floral patterns. The back sides, what I did was, let's see, I think, yeah. So I used the same papers and I just did the flip side. So I've got some kind of like florals and I've got some stripes here. So I want my seal for this and my silicone craft sheet. So I recommend you do the same because we're going to be putting adhesive on the corners. So we'll take our seal and we're just going to put adhesive on this corner here. And then I'm going to alternate my dark and light colors. So for instance, I'm going to take this one right here that has the bird on it. And I'm going to line it up to the left side of the pencil line. And let me just tilt my camera differently. There. Okay. So again, it's going to go on the left side of the pencil line. And you want to make sure that your edges, ends of your paper, are over past the basic white corner there. We're going to chop off the excess with our paper snips. All right, so I have that glued down. And don't worry about this yet because you need it loose to add on the other pieces. I'm just going to add a little bit more of seal right there. And I'm going to grab this striped one. And it'll just give me another little different kind of pattern. So we've got kind of a floral kind of design on the left side and stripes on the right side. All right, so those are down really good, and you can see that I've extended the paper over the corners of the basic white. Again, that's 3 by 3. And then I'm going to rotate my square, add some adhesive over here, and then we're going to weave it. So it doesn't really matter if you go top and underneath or the other way. So since this paper is already up, I'm going to go up underneath and then over. So we're kind of weaving is what we're trying to do here. And we're going to the other side of the line, your pencil line, and make sure your paper is over the edge up here. And we'll just press that down right here. Let me add a little bit more adhesive. And then we're going to do the opposite. So you're going to take the next sheet of your paper, and this is a great scrap card, by the way. We all have scraps. And now we're going to weave the opposite way. So on the first one, we went underneath this strip here and over the top of the left one. This one, we're going over the top and under the stripe. So we create that weave. And then we will make sure the seams are together in between here, because we don't want to really see that white. We'll add some glue, and we'll work with this corner first. And again, make sure you're lining it up with the pencil line, because you can still see it. And then this one gets lined up with the designer paper. Okay, we'll do the same thing over here, because this corner is still loose. We will add our adhesive. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see better. Again, to the right side of that pencil line. And then on this one, to the left side. So I've got two seams. And then I'm just going to go around, make sure they are nice and adhered there. They're not loose. If you find that this is loose here, you could slide a mini glue dot underneath here, but I'm going to wait to see, because we're going to emboss this 3x3 panel after I cut these edges off. So I like to use scissors that I don't care about getting adhesive on. So these are just some random scissors I have in my craft room. And also my paper snips are already packed away, ready to go. So this will be the next best thing. And you want to get close to the edge. And we'll just snip this right off. I hope you guys can't hear my washing machine. It's down the hall from my craft room and it can get a little loud. There we go. All right, all these little pieces can go in your trash bucket or recycle bin. And let me get rid of mine. My recycle bin's right underneath my desk, so it's pretty handy. But static electricity this time of year, oh my goodness, it's crazy. All right, so this is what your square is looking like so far. Now you're going to take your embossing folder of choice. Doesn't really matter. I'm just going to stick with this one here. It's the Distress Tile 3D. And you're going to put it into your embossing folder. I always like to make sure that I can read the word Stampin' Up, because that is the front side of my embossing folder. And I'm just going to make sure this is semi-straight. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to run this through my embossing folder. I mean my embossing folder. I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine. I do have an electric one right next to me, so I will just run this real quick. And I like to go up and back so it gets 2 passes through the machine. And then what we get is really pretty. So we'll carefully take this out, because you might have some glue left on your square. And then we have this beautiful square that not only has our designer paper on it, but now it is embossed. And it sticks down pretty good. If you find that it's too loose, what you can do is you can take a mini glue dot, and let me just grab some from my past kits here. And you'd want to, you definitely want a piercing tool to do this. So if you just grab one of these mini glue dots, sometimes they're easy to come off the thing, and sometimes they give me a little problem. So I've got it right there on the tip of my piercing tool. And I'll find the location that is a little loose. So I can see this one right here is a little loose. If it bothers you, then just take your mini glue dot and just slide your piercing tool underneath, press down, and then that mini glue dot will secure this down and it won't move. I'll do that one more time so you can see. So we'll just grab one of these mini glue dots. I try to take the backing off, but sometimes it doesn't work. So if you just pick it up and roll it, you'll get it off very easy. So let's see. Let's come over here and I'll just slide one over on this side here. So that's what you can do to keep them down. If it bothers you, I would say keep it loose. Don't waste your time by putting that in there because it's pretty solid on there as long as you use enough glue. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Darn it. I forgot to put the white pieces on, Karen. Oh my goodness. So then what is this going to look like? Well, guess what I can do? Normally I would have put them on first and then embossed all of them, but I am going to, so it looks like it's embossed. Let's run these through the embossing folder in my machine and we'll get embossed look. I'm glad I'm doing 3 more of these. So I can do it right. At least I got 3 more tries. I got a little ahead of myself. See, static electricity is like crazy in my house right now. Okay. So let's take our glue and I am going to use my liquid glue. I feel like that's gonna adhere it better just because all these little nooks and crannies in there. We're going to add it to each of the corners. And this is going to create the star for you. And then we'll just add this one. Get that on there. I don't like to go over the edge. Try to keep it as square as possible. And when I'm adding the adhesive, I'm trying to feel the flat side here, so I know that's the back side of the paper. There we go. So no one will ever know that I forgot to put these little squares on before the embossing. When I get over there. Okay, so now we have that pretty star. It's beautiful on my side. If you find that after you emboss your panels, you have pieces of cardstock over the edge, now is the time to trim it down. Okay, so let me just pretend I've got some over here. Just take your scissors and just cut down the square. All right, I'm going to take my Native Navy square, which is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. I'm going to adhere it on. Now this one is not going to look as good as what it should because it did not get embossed the same time as the others. Because this normally would be pressed down in there and you wouldn't really see it. Right now I kind of see it. So we'll just put this in the reject pile. So there is your star. I'm going to take my Stampin' Dimensionals and I will just adhere or put 4 of these on the back side here. And I've got them in from the edge about 1/2 inch. You can put 5 if you want. I would just put it in the center there. And then let's bring in our card base and we'll add it to the front here. And let me see. I'm going to add it. These up there look better than ones on the bottom. So I want those on the top. Okay. just make sure that's on there really nicely secured with your dimensionals. The stamping, again, I am going to be using my Paper Pumpkin Hello Spring stamp set and my Night of Navy for this one. And let's just make this one, it says Happy Easter on it. So I will do that. And let me see if I've got another circle in here, which I probably do. And these came from a Paper Pumpkin refill kit. And they always give us extra supplies, so I like to carry on those supplies to my future projects as well. All right, we only need the Night of Navy one time, and that was for the sentiment, so we'll put that over there. And now we just got to determine where you want to put the circle. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to look at each one of these squares because I want to try to cover up one of them, because honestly, this is what it should look like. This blends in with the designer paper, so you really can't even see. You think it's just part of the 3x3 piece. But in reality, this one doesn't look as good. So if you can see right here where the circle is hitting the square, we need just adhesive at the top. To make this the same height as your square, you'll need to add dimensionals under the word Easter. So we'll flip it over. I like to use my thumb as a guide. And I'm going to grab 2 dimensionals from the sheet that I have here and just add 2 of those there. And then we can run our seal at the top, and then we'll just determine, I'm going to put it on this side. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. I love the blues, by the way. And then I've got some other embellishments that are left over from kits as well. So let me grab one of those. And these come in 2 different sizes. They're little sparkle gems. And I'll grab one of the larger ones. And I'm going to put it right in the middle. And these, of course, coordinate with the circle because there's like gold foiling around the edge of the circle. And these actually came in the same kit. So there you go. There's that one, the Happy Easter card with the Night of Navy Countryside Corner or in designer paper. Very beautiful. Now what we'll do is let's go with a really bright color like Melon Mambo. Melon Mambo is a really bright pink color. And I am just going to clean up my desk here so I don't get lost in all the pieces of paper I have on my desk. All right, so we're going to grab the envelope. And I got to go back and design my envelopes, but I just use them as like a placeholder for all the paper here. So again, it's the same way. And by now you have your measurements. So I challenge you to go get your papers. I'll give you the sizes again. And that way on the 3rd card, you can join me in the fun. So your card base, I'm using white, which is basic white, thick, and it's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Okay. So write that down if you haven't already. And then your next, cardstock is 4 by 5 1/4, and I've already pre-embossed it with the Distress Tile 3D. And that again is 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to adhere that right down right now so I don't lose it. And it's a piece that's not loose and on my desk where I could totally lose it, even though it's bright and cheerful. And that gets adhered right down on the front. Okay, just give it a few seconds to let that glue get into the card base, the white. All right, we're going to set that aside again, and we're going to work on the white square, which is 3 by 3. Definitely need a ruler, so make sure you're grabbing a ruler and grab a pencil. We're going to make those lines again. So line your ruler up at the corners and trace an X. All right, we have our X. And we'll add some glue on both opposite sides. Oh no, I don't want the opposite side. Oh well, it's too late. That's okay though. We're gonna lay out our designs. This is from the Friends of the Ocean paper. I'm not going to be using like the lobster side. I'm going to be using like just the general patterns here. And I've got 4 different patterns I've got some in Melon Mambo, in like a pumpkin pie color, Calypso Coral. So what I'll do is put I'm going to team them up. So these 2 right here are pretty dominant for my eyes. And then these 2 are less as dominant. So I'm going to team them up with a dominant pattern and the other color that is like a non-dominant design. So this is going to get adhered to the left side of that line that I've already pre-drawn. And I can, if you don't want these flapping, then add adhesive, okay? It might be a little bit easier for you to do that. And then we have this one here, which is going to go on the right side. We line it up right against the seam of that pinkish. And these strips are 1/2 inch wide by 6 inches. Okay, you want them long enough so it covers the entire square. Now we'll rotate and add our seal over here. And I'll add some up here. Now we're going to design this side where this is going to be the weaving part of it. So you might want to take one of these or both of them off for right now, because we're going to weave through the 2 pieces. So this one, it doesn't matter if you go over the top first or under. I'll choose under and over. Then I will slide this paper all the way over the edge, and I'll make sure that this is still covering and going past the corner of that white. Okay, so that one is under and over. So this one needs to be over and under. So I'm going to pull up the one that is orange, and then this one is going over the pinkish color. And then I'm going to start at the top here and line up my seams. Okay. And now we'll rotate this, and I'm going to slide. There's a little bit of white showing right here. So I'm going to try to get that stuck a little bit more. And I'll pull this one just so it's really snug. And then just go around, make sure they're really nicely adhered. They're not going to come apart. And then take your scissors and just trim off. If you've watched the first card, you probably have this down already. So make sure you grab your supplies so you can craft along with me. And think about, have you sent a card this week? If you have not sent a card yet this week, think of somebody right now that you want to send it to. Think about somebody that's like had a really difficult time, and we'll send some happy mail that way. There's nothing better than getting a handmade card in your mailbox. All right, these are flying all over. And since it's so staticky, I'm just going to throw them on the floor and sweep it up later. Now is when you put your white pieces on. Okay, so you'll need 4 of those. They're cut 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So 4 of those. And if you have any questions, I'm going to look back. I actually haven't even looked at comments yet. I'll look after this card here to see if there's any comments, questions, or anything like that. So I've got my adhesive on all 4 of the squares. Again, 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. And this is the time where we want to add them to the corners. This is what I forgot to do on the first card. Just got ahead of myself. All right, I'm just squaring that up on the corners. There we go. So we have our star. And if you want to add mini glue dots underneath, now's the time I would do that. I think mine's pretty good, so I'm gonna just run it through my embossing machine. So I'm gonna use the Distressed Tile 3D and add that. This one, I think this one's gonna look beautiful with the pinks and oranges. And let me just run that right through. I have an electric embossing machine because I do so much die cutting and dry embossing that if I was to crank all day long, I would totally get carpal tunnel. And I've already had carpal tunnel surgery like a year and a half ago. So there you go. So now those squares look like they're part of the 3 by 3 piece that we adhered the strips to. Isn't that just beautiful? Now we will add the square to the melon mambo piece. This is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. And adhesive, plenty of it. Square it up on your melon mambo piece. And now this one, I'm thinking of creating a different approach here at the front, but I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna like it. I was thinking it might look kind of cool like this, but then again, I don't think it's going to fit in the envelope. So I'm gonna just see if it will. So I'm gonna just add a little bit of seal there. Adhere it, just tack it down so that the corners here are pretty much identical going over the edge. And let me see if I can just slip it in this envelope. Probably not. And it probably would get damaged in the mail, but I just wanted to see. Yeah, so it's not. You could make an envelope that would fit this. So this won't work. So we'll just go back to the same way we did on the first card. Let me take my dimensionals. These dimensionals came in the Hello Spring paper pumpkin kit. The sheet is like 6 by 6, and you cannot lose this. I'll put one in the middle this time. So as you can see, I'm still using it. I'll take these off. The next card is going to be using your Shy Shamrock color. And then right here. And then let's see what sentiment I might have in the Hello Spring. Ooh, the Hello Spring sentiment. Let's grab that one. And I'm going to grab my cleaner. Take that Night of Navy ink off. And we'll switch out the sentiment. My block is a little dirty, so let me just clean that off. Okay, got the flat side facing me. I put my sentiments diagonally onto the block so that my eyes will focus on the hello instead of the straight edge there. Melon Mambo is going to be my color of choice here just because it's the dominant color in the card itself. And my pack of sentiments, where did they go? They're like right here in front of me. I know they are. There they are, buried. So I'm thinking, I don't know as if anything else would look good. These are ovals, and then these are your rectangles, and then of course we have the circles. I think circles are going to be the best for every one of these. But let's just stamp just to see. I can use these on another card. So if I just stamp that in the center, that's so pretty with that, the fonts on that. This will be a circle. And then let's stamp on the rectangle. That one, I don't think this, yeah, this one doesn't quite fit. A lot of it will, some of it will hit on the foil, and of course the foil and the ink will not dry, so it's going to smudge. Okay, so if you run your finger on it like this, it's most likely going to go into the white because you can't dry out the ink on the foil. So that will not fit, but these two fit pretty good. We can kind of see, actually, let's use this one, and I'm going to put it in the middle, and then we can kind of look at them with circles and like the ovals. So again, we're going to add a seal at the very top under the word hello, because that's going to go onto the square. And then we'll put some dimensionals on the back side. I got to move this stuff. And I'm going to add 2. And then I'm going to center this one. There. So now everything is at the same height. So the dimensionals are when you adhere the sentiment, it brought it up to the same level as your square. And then it's attached to, the top part is attached to the square. So this is not going to go anywhere. Just make sure you press it down good enough. And then we'll take our embellishment and add it to the center. And then we'll move on to the next one, which is a Shy Shamrock scheme. Or, yeah, color scheme. There you go. Isn't this fun? Like, I totally could keep making these all day long. They're so much fun. And I hope you guys are crafting along with me. I will give you again the measurements. So if you're not, you have one more opportunity to make your own star quilt card. So the ones that we have right now, this is Carol's. This was my inspiration. This is her. She was Stamper of the Month for our team. And at our team meeting last night, I designed, I used her design here. And the only difference was, of course, the sentiment. I used one of the circles. But I added a layer of coordinating color underneath the white and popped it up. Carol's is all straight down on top of the greenish color here, minty color. And then here's the one we just made. And then the one that I made prior to the Melon Mambo design. And then this is the one I made last night. So you've got 4 options right now of different colors. So we're going to switch over to Shy Shamrock. It's almost St. Patrick's Day, so let's add a little bit of green into our card making. And let's see. I'm thinking what sentiment I want. I'll just rethink it while I'm crafting along. So what size is your card base? All right. Did you jot it down? It's 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. Okay. So white, make sure that it is laying flat for you. If it's not, just give another couple burnishing back and forth, and it should lay flat for you. So 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. Grab a coordinating cardstock color, which this is Shy Shamrock. And I've got it embossed with the Distress Tile 3D. And this just goes right on top of the card base. Make sure you checked to see that your card was opening correctly for you, or else it's going to be backwards. I knew mine was just by looking at it, but make sure you check that. That gets set aside. And again, we're just going to create that little X with our ruler and our pencil. This is 3 by 3. You could create this card with Very Vanilla as well. And I don't necessarily think that this needs to be basic white. I probably could be a coordinating color that's different from your front of the card. That might look pretty cool. I never actually even thought of doing that. I just like the white on this one. All right, so we got the seal there. I've got my X. I'm going to, again, let's lay out the patterns here in front of us. These are a little different. We got some florals, and then we just got some little designs there. The back side, we can look at that. We've got some stripes. We got some black dots. We got some more black floral. And then this was our shaded spruce. I don't like these patterns, so we're going to work with the other side, which is a little bit brighter. Okay, so now we've got 2 florals and 2 just like, I don't know, artsy designs. So I'm going to team up the green because I wanted to pull from the little flowers that are on the designer paper there. And then we'll match this one up with the other one that's the colors are coordinating really nice. So we'll just start with this one and line it up with this, with the line there. Just press right here. I did not add any glue up there yet. And then we'll grab this one. These are 1/2 inch by 6. You probably could get away with 5 inches, but 6 is a nice number to work with. And then we will add our seal over here. And then I'm going to start with a floral, and I'm going to go under the first strip and over the second and go extend past that little point and adhere down here. And then this one is going to go over the top and under. So we'll slide this one under the second one, go past the point, and then line up your seams. All right, now I'm going to add some seal to each of the corners that do not have it on there yet. Again, I'm going to pull this tight and line it up with the pencil mark and then press down. And again, we're going to do the same thing, except we're lining this one up with the seam of the green. And one more to go. Again, line it up with the pencil mark, pull it tight, and line it up with the seam. Just double check that they're all nice and secure. Grab your scissors that you really don't care about getting adhesive on, and we'll trim those down. It's a little windy out there. I can hear the wind. I think it's so satisfying to trim off paper like this. Let's see, I got a little bit left over here, so we'll just snip that off. All right, so that's looking pretty good. Let's get rid of this paper here. And we'll grab 4 more of these from my little basket. 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. Oh, I forgot to look at comments again, darn it. I'll have to do that. Let me do that right now. That way I won't forget. I get so excited making this card that I kind of forget. Let's see what we got. From the South Dakota. Oh, I have not been to South Dakota. Blue is my favorite color. The patterns are so pretty. Yes. No washer noise. Oh, that's good. It's shut off now. So I gotta go dry my sheets. Okay. Yep. Making mistakes. I don't edit. So, all right. Thank you. I've got some new names here watching me. That's exciting. All right. So now we're just adding on the little squares here. And if you want to craft along with me, you got one more opportunity. I'll go over the sizes one more time. Your card base, and I chose white, is 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4.25. Then find a coordinating color from your designer series paper that you are going to be using. And that size is 4 by 5.25, and emboss it with your favorite embossing folder. And then you will cut a coordinating piece of cardstock if you want to, if you want it layered under here, like this one is right here. I've got a nice layer of wild wheat. If you don't, then it's going to look like this. It's going to look all blended in together. So whatever you want, that piece needs to be 3.25 by 3.25. And then your white is 3 by 3. All of your strips of designer paper are 1/2 inch wide by 6 inches long. And your sentiment, grab a die cut, whatever you have in your craft room, and some ink, a stamp, and some adhesive. Now I've got adhesive right here on the white, right there. I need to get that off because one is going to go on my embossing folder. I've actually got some over here too. And two, it's going to make a hot mess. So where is it? Oh boy. I got another one somewhere. I got two in my craft room, and watch, I won't be able to find either of them. I may have already packed it away for on stage. Just give me a second here. I know I put my other one in a little box because it was getting so sticky. Let me run over one more time. I found it. It was hiding. All right, so I just get these at the Dollar Tree. I was lucky. I can't find them locally, and when I was visiting my son and his family, they live in Connecticut, I went to the Dollar Tree there, and it was right around retreat time, about this time a couple years ago, and they had a ton of them, so I grabbed one for every person that was coming to my retreat or was a retreat in a box, and that was one of their gifts. They're really, really, other than ordering them online, if you want to find them locally, I find that they're really hard to find. They're not at my local Dollar Tree. All right, just got that cleaned up. Just make sure. I just used a little bit too much seal. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to emboss it through my embossing machine. Again, I'm using the Distress Tile 3D, and if you're just coming on, this is my top overall favorite embossing folder. I quite honestly use it all the time. I'll just run that through my machine here. I have an electric die cutting machine because I die cut and emboss, dry emboss so much that I can't crank through using my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I do use that one on my in-person events, but in my craft room, I have to have something like that. So now, check your square, because you might have some pieces like this that are overhanging and you don't want that look. So just take your scissors. I like paper snips to do this, but I've already got those packed away for on stage. So we'll just have to make do with what I have here. All right, that looks okay. Oh, I just love that. Okay, and now we'll grab the 3.25 by 3.25 square and our glue. Come on. The last card we're going to make is using some wood grain paper, and I thought that would be kind of fun to make. Something different, more just woody grain paper that's not bright and bold and what have you. It's just like lots of browns. All right, so that looks beautiful. Now we'll take our dimensionals again and add 4 or 5, your choice. If you kind of put them in at least half of an inch from the edge, you can get away with just 4. All right, and now just rotate it to what you like. Maybe you like this one on the left side, or you want it, you know, facing downward. Just keep rotating it. I actually like it this way. And we'll just adhere this. All of your edges, your left, your right, and the top should be equal. I'm just eyeballing it. I'm not going to get a ruler out. That's just ridiculous. All right, and so there you go. Let's create, I think I'm going to use one of those ovals again. And I'm going to use my Shy Shamrock. So let me grab my Stampin' Scrub and just get that Melon Mambo off so we don't contaminate the Shy Shamrock ink pad. And, oh, come on, baby. This one's tight. And I'm going to quickly stamp my Hello Spring right in the middle. There you go. Again, if you're just coming on, we are making the Star Quilt card. This card was designed, the original one, by a team member of mine, and we made it last night at our team meeting. It was super fun. I had never made this card before, this type of design, so I learned something new. And I'm challenging you, if you don't know how to make this, or maybe you do, email me a picture of it and I will post it on my Facebook page, which is Inspired by Graham. And if you're not a member there, you don't have to be a member, a follower, I guess. All those technology terms there. I encourage you to do so. I don't post a lot. 1, because a lot of times I forget. And 2 is I'm still working a part-time job and also hoping to sell my parents' house this weekend, or today actually. I got some people very interested in it. I'm just waiting for that phone call. That would be really nice, going to on stage knowing that we have an offer for the house, and it's a good offer, not a like low ball offer that we've had in the past. Okay, one last thing is that cute little gem. Again, you can use whatever gem you would like to. I would encourage you to use something sparkly like these, or something that you'll be able to see. And these are just left over from previous paper pumpkin kits. All right, so there's your Shamrock green style of card that I'm looking at. I'm holding this here and I'm looking at my laptop, and this one just pops. Totally pops. So here's our Shy Shamrock. Here's the Moody Mauve scheme. We got Night of Navy, Melon Mambo. And then we've got the Daffodil Delight, and I want to say that's Mint Macaron. All right, so let's make one more card, and that's more of a brown theme. So we're going to be using Early Espresso for our ink colors, along with Early Espresso cardstock. And we're using the wood grain paper. And that's a carryover paper from last year. It's in our annual catalog. And guess what? Tomorrow I get to see the annual catalog for 25-26. I am so excited to be able to see that. I've heard it's great. Of course it is. But a change that they made from last year versus this year is they haven't been putting the designer series paper all together in the catalog. And we complained about that. I complained, a lot of people complained, and they listened to us. Stampin' Up! Listened to us, and they have changed the catalog back to having designer series paper all in the same like lineup. It's not, you can't like go to the back index and find the item number, find the page number and turn to it. It has its own section. I haven't seen it yet, but that's what I have heard. All right, there's your beautiful embossed early espresso. That's just pretty as is. And then I've got my early espresso 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. And my last square here, which is basic white, and it is 3 by 3. I'll just take my ruler and make a line point to point, and then rotate and do this one more time. All right. Let's cap this and grab my seal. Add my adhesive down here in this corner. You want to make sure you get it right to the edge, by the way. And let's see what we've got over here for our strips. I did not want any colors in it. And this paper does have like pinks and blues in it. That's a birchy color there. It's got smoky slate gray granite as well, but I like the deep color of this one, which is early espresso. And then this one, I'm not sure. I might want to use that side. And see, there's the blue. I just don't like that for male, masculine. So I'm going to use that side. And then this one here, that has the pink. I'm going to use the brownish side. So the dominant colors here, the darkest are this strip here, and then this one. And then just figure out which one you want to go with which. So you can just kind of put them next to each other to see. I'm going to go that one and that route. Okay. So we'll take the dark strip. I'm going to be dreaming about this card. And then that's the birch tree. And then let's rotate this, add our seal all the way to the edge. And then we're going to weave it. First one, we're going to weave over and under and line up the strip to the pencil line right there. And then our last strip here is going to go, this one was over. Now we got to go under and over on this one, okay? So just the opposite of what we just did. I'm going to take a picture of all these cards individually and post them on my Facebook page. And I probably will hopefully be able to get an email out with these. So email subscribers, you will get instruction sheets to download as a PDF. And I've got it here, designed by Carol Martin. She gets the credit on this. What I'll also do is I'll add all the cards that I made tonight or today and last night on this sheet too, so you can get some different color schemes. So in order to get that download, you have to be part of my email list. And to do that, if you're not a member or not on my email list, you just need to go to my website, which is inspiredbygraham.com, and then fill out that pop-up button that will show like maybe 3 seconds later. And that goes into my constant contact email database, and that gets updated all the time. So I can be able to send this out to you. If by chance you don't get it, you're on my email list and you didn't get it, just shoot me an email and I will look into that for you. You might have to look in your spam folder. I don't spam, but sometimes email like Gmail or what have you, Yahoo, Hotmail, if there's Hotmail anymore, I don't really know. They might think it's spam. So we're just going to trim this down. They do stick, that's for sure. I think this one's going to look really nice as well. I don't think there's any wrong colors, to be honest with you. Just use what what do you gravitate to? I gravitate to that embossing folder, Distress Tile 3D. I don't really have a favorite designer paper. Some I really, really like, and some I don't really care for. But I try to use a different design or a different designer paper every single week so I can just use it and see if I might like it or not. All right, so then we've got our little squares. Again, these are 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and they get glued down on the corners. My cat was in here yesterday, and I've got cat hair on this one. Oh, stinker. I got, my husband's birthday was in early March, and we have had this grill for like, I want to say it moved with us. I'm pretty sure it did. So like over 9 years. And he's one that he was a dairy farmer. So dairy farmers, they use everything until you can't possibly fix it. He's fixed this grill, I don't know, 5 years so far. So this year I went out and got him one of those griddles, those big grills, I guess you call them. And he put it together yesterday. It didn't come in assembled. I was kind of bummed about that. But he put it together. And do you know that cat? She has now found a new place to take a nap because it's flat. She is a spoiled one, that's for sure. Right now she's outside. She likes that I'm home a couple times a week because 10 o'clock in the morning, always she asks to go out. Oh, look at that. That one's beautiful too. Definitely. I mean, I like this one. I would love to get this design, but definitely more masculine. I'm going to use my liquid glue and we'll just glue this right on. And I did forget to tell you, just double check that your square is all good around, because when you emboss paper, it will either shrink or expand depending on the design. And you really want this squared up real nice. Again, if you don't like the looseness of the strips, sometimes they're like really embossed down really well, and sometimes they can be a little loose. So if you don't like that looseness, then just grab a mini dimensional in your your piercing tool, and just slide one under. Let me just find, I showed this before, but if you're just coming on, let me just show you real quick. And I'm going to grab one of these paper pumpkin adhesive circles here. Let me just try to get one on the tip of this. So I've got it on the tip of my embossing. I keep saying embossing, my piercing tool. And I'll carefully lift this one up. Maybe I'll just have to slide it in. Slide it underneath and then press down with your finger and then release. And now that is stuck on pretty good. I'll do that one more time so you can see it. These, I love using extra supplies for my kits. And this is one way I do it, is just fixing things. There we go. And I just keep all of these. You can see I've got a million of them here. I just put them in one of our little plastic envelopes, things that came with dies, and store them that way. It stores them flat. grab our dimensionals. We're almost done. And how many cards did I make? 4, and then I made one last night. And then I had Carol's card, so you're going to have lots of color choices. Again, I encourage you to make this card and send a copy of it to a picture of it to me, and I can post it on my Facebook page and give you all the credit. Oh, this one's going to look great. Look at that. See, I could totally make this all day long. With all my designer paper, you don't use a lot, but it is so striking. Now, this one cannot be Hello Spring. So I want a birthday card. So there's no birthday sentiment in this one here. So let me just run over to my other table. I must have a birthday stamp out already. Oh, that one's too big. Shoot. Hold on. Gotta be one. I have so many stamp sets out. How about just a note to let's see. Your kindness made my day instead of birthday. Let's do that. So this is from Mixed Labels. This is a stamp set we're going to be using at my retreat in a couple weeks. It's a cling mount, so you don't need a piercing mat or anything like that. And grab a block and early espresso, because that will match and coordinate the designer paper there. And I think one of those little foil ovals will be best. Hopefully it fits. Let's see. Perfect. All right, almost done, you guys. Now, if you are going to sell any of your cards that you make sure you have that Angel Policy stamp on the back side of your card. I always stamp that on the back side, just in case I want to sell the cards. I have them all ready to go. And I have a ton to add to my inventory for the craft fair I'm going to be in May 3rd. It's going to be at the University Mall in South Burlington. So if you're in South Burlington, Vermont on May 3rd, come see me in the mall. That's where we're going to be. It's a craft fair. It's called Because Craft Fair. So B-E and then C-A-U-S-E Craft Fair. I've done them a couple times, but the last couple years I haven't been able to. And I choose a organization that I like to basically sponsor and fundraise for. And 50% of my profits need to be sent to that organization. And they do keep track of our vendor, the vendors and what they make. So my choice, I usually do the juvenile diabetes in the past, but I am going to be, if you follow me, I hike and I do hiking fundraisers. So I'm going to be hiking in Scotland in August, starting August 2nd, 96 miles with my husband. We're hiking end to end. So I'm going to be hiking for a cause, and my profits will go towards the Alzheimer's Association in memory of my mother. And also I'll be hiking in, I think, May. I really haven't set a target date yet. And I will be section hiking in New York, Appalachian Trail. So it should be fun. Look at that. Isn't that so pretty? Like, look at that. All right, I want to look at any comments, and then we'll go over all the color schemes. And then I will, I need to get some packing done. I haven't even packed. I need to do laundry first, actually. All right, let's see. Okay, I'm supposed to be cleaning up my stamping station, but I'm now following along and making this card. Oh, awesome, Susan T. Make sure you email it to me, Karen@inspiredbygraham.com, and I will take a look at it and put it on my Facebook page. I can't believe how the corner squares just disappear. I know, exactly. They just disappear. And it's evident where I made that first card and it didn't emboss. I didn't emboss them first. I embossed them afterwards by mistake. And you can definitely see them on this one. Whereas here, it all blends in together. Yes, definitely the paper pumpkin glue dots are lower profile. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. I'm going to go over these one more time. Don't forget, if you saw any of these products that I used today, love to see an order come through. That does help me out, meet my quarterly requirements. And make sure you use this host code here, which is TJARFGYF. And a $35 order will get you 3 card kits from the Notes from the Heart. It's a paper pumpkin refill kit, but I make an alternative with it. And that's just a gift for ordering from me. So there's 3. I don't even know if I can fit all these cards on here. So let me just give it a try. So we got that one there. I'm going to put Carol's in the center because she used this one at our team meeting. And then, so Early Espresso, Mint Macaron, I believe that color is, Melon Mambo, and then we have Night of Navy, and then we have Shy Shamrock, and Moody Mauve. So those are all the colors that are in the in today's video. You can make some different ones, use different designer paper. I'm not sure if I'm locked up or not. My laptop isn't moving whatsoever, so hopefully I'm not. Let me just refresh and see if I can see. No, it looks like yeah, I'm not sure what happened, but if I'm still live, well, you get to see all these. If you don't, then go to my Facebook page and I will have them posted there very shortly. So thanks so much for watching. I'm going to get rocking and rolling, and you guys have a great rest of your week, and stay tuned. I'll bring you some pictures from on stage. Thanks for watching.